A considerable crimes in contemplation. Today, being Saturday, somewhat complicates matters. But now, Doctor, our work is done. It is time we had some play. Sarasate is playing at the St. James's Hall this afternoon.
A sandwich and a cup of coffee?
And then off to Violin Land, where all is sweetness, delicacy, and harmony.
And no red-headed clients to vex us with their conundrums.
All the afternoon, he sat in the stalls, wrapped in the most perfect happiness, while his gently smiling face and his languid, dreamy eyes were as unlike those of Holmes the sleuth hound as it was possible to conceive. When I saw him, so enwrapped in the music, I felt that an evil time might be coming upon those whom he had set himself to hunt down.
Excellent, Watson. You have a future as a cartographer. That'll be Athelney Jones. I thought it was as well to have someone from Scotland Yard with us. He's an absolute imbecile at his profession, but he does have the tenacity of a lobster when he gets his claws into someone. Good evening, Jones.
So, we're working in couples again, Mr. Holmes. Our friend here is a wonderful man for starting the chase. All he needs is an old dog to help him do the running down.
Mr. Merriweather, my friend and colleague, Dr. Watson.
How do you do, sir?
Only hope a wild goose may not prove to be the end of our chase. I'm not personally in favor of amateur criminal investigators.
You may place considerable confidence in Mr. Holmes.
No, if you say so, Mr. Jones.
Well, he has his own little methods, which, if he won't mind me saying so, are a little theoretical and fantastic. But he has the makings of a detective in him.
Ah.
But I do say, as I've said before, the Coburg branch of the bank is as well secured as any building in London. There is no possibility that it could be broken into. Even the insurance assessors agree on that point.
And you, sir, should know, being not only the resident manager, but also the director.
I should know, and I do know. And what is more, this is the first time for 27 years that I've missed my Saturday night of whist at my club.
Oh, dear.
And I find myself extremely inconvenienced.
I think that you will find the game tonight much more exciting, and the stake will be for many, many thousands of pounds.
And what will my reward be, Mr. Holmes?
A young man called Clay.
John Clay? Oh, how I'd like to get my hands on that devil.
You shall.
This young fella's a gentleman, as Mr. Holmes says, but he's turned against his class. He's as cunning as the devil, slippery as an eel, and he's turned crib-cracking and forgery into a fine art.
His grandfather was a royal duke, and he himself was educated at Eton and Oxford. So, Watson, bring the gun. Come, gentlemen. Our cab is below.
two keys to the vault. I have one. The chairman holds the other in his personal safe.
Well, you are certainly not vulnerable from above.
Nor from below.
Mr. Merriweather, may I ask you to be a little more quiet? Might I get you to sit on one of those boxes and not to interfere?
There is no way in which a thief could break into this bank.
Is it a special reason why a thief should want to break into this bank?
Nothing particularly.
Something in the past few months? Something that you have concealed from us?
The information I have is confidential, known only to the directors of the bank. It is not to be divulged to members of the public. Not even amateur detectives.
Private consulting detective, Mr. Merriweather. Unique in the annals of crime, I believe. Isn't that so, Inspector?
Yes, Doctor. I advise you to cooperate with Mr. Holmes.
Especially as at this moment I am trying to save your skin and that of your fellow directors. So what is it?
Our French gold. We had occasion some months ago to strengthen our resources and borrowed for that purpose 60,000 napoleons from the Bank of France. Therefore, our reserve of bullion is much larger than is usual in such a branch of the bank.
Where is this gold?
The crates upon which Dr. Watson sits contain 30,000 napoleons wrapped between layers of lead foil.
May we see it?
This is much bolder and larger in conception than I had at first thought. Wouldn't you say, John?
I would indeed. This Clay's more of an amateur adventurer or spur-of-the-moment criminal. This long planning's not Clay's style at all, sir. Not at all.
Unless it's a pawn. A much larger game. Mr. Merriweather, someone has had access to information of the most confidential sort. Careful plans have been laid. A mastermind has been at work.
Are you suggesting that...
I'm suggesting that it bears all the hallmarks of Professor Moriarty's work.
Moriarty?
And who is this Moriarty?
We don't really know, sir. Well, that is, neither the police nor, I think, Mr. Sherlock Holmes here have ever set eyes on him. Yet his name echoes and re-echoes throughout the underworld.
It appears that he is a man of good birth and excellent education. But he has hereditary tendencies of the most diabolical kind. A criminal strain runs in his blood, which is increased and rendered infinitely more dangerous by his extraordinary mental powers. He is the organizer of half that is evil and nearly all that is undetected in this great city. He is never caught. His agent is caught, but the central power is never caught. Seldom even suspected. We shall not see the professor tonight. The only way for tonight's enemy to escape is through the pawnbrokers.
There's already an inspector and a constable at the doors.
We have only a few moments before position. Would you be so kind as to put out this lamp?
And sit in the dark?
I'm afraid so. We cannot risk the presence of light.